Hello everyone, welcome back to this channel. So in our last class we studied about sampling and what are the types of sampling. Today we are going to do all these things using Python. Okay. If you remember, sampling is of two types: probability sampling, non-probability sampling. Probability sampling can be categorized into simple, random, systematic, stratified, cluster sampling. Let's first start with this one, simple random sampling. Okay, you remember that simple random sampling means completely randomly you are selecting some participants. Okay, so let's do it in Python. See here, I have imported random and I have taken a data set population equal to 1 to 10. Okay, now I want some random numbers from this population. Now for that I have to write the function called sample. Random.sample. I pass the dataset as parameter and I want 4 samples. Okay, now suppose if I run it, then it will give me randomly 4 numbers. If I run it again, the numbers may change. Clear? If you want 2 samples, then it will provide you 2 samples. Simple. So you have to use sample function, you have to pass the data set, and you have to mention the number of samples you want from the sampling. Okay, so it is just randomly selecting some numbers. That's why simple random sampling. Clear? Next one we studied systematic sampling selects every nth number from a list after a random start. So we have to first mention the random start and we have to mention the n. So here the sampling interval that n is 4. I want every fourth number from the dataset, the same dataset. Okay. Now random index for starting, that is done by random.randint from 0 to k minus 1, that is 4 minus 1, 3. So you can start from 2 or 3 or from 1. Okay. So you have just mentioned the random starting index. Now here see, you have given the starting index, but you have not provided the end index. That means you want the complete list, the complete data set to be traversed. Okay. So here this is a slicing concept we studied in Python class. So I have mentioned the start index. Start index is randomly generated. Giving nothing means I want the complete list to be traversed. And this is the interval. K is the interval. That means I want every fourth number from this data set. Okay, that is the systematic sampling. Okay, so you are sampling in a systematic manner. If you want, you can just change it. You can give 2, you can give 3. If you give 2, then see the random starting index here it has taken 1 and it will give you 1, 3, 3 plus 2, 5, 5 plus 2, 7, 7 plus 2, 9. Clear? So you are sampling with a systematic manner. Okay. Next, we studied stratified sampling. That means creating subgroups and then samples from each group proportionally. Okay. Now see here. Here we have used a function train test split. This is a very important function, and we are going to use this function while studying machine learning algorithms because this will be important for modeling the dataset. First, you have to divide the dataset into training part and testing part. Because on the training part you are going to model the data and then you will check in the test part. So always you have to divide the data set into training and testing by this train test split. Okay, so first import this x and y input and output. X is the features, y is the output. So you can see for input 1 2 the output is 0, for 3 4 output is 0, for 5 6 the output is 1. These are taken just random data set. The data set will be like this. You have independent variable that is x and you want the answer, you want the dependent variable, okay, you want the output that is y. So when you have this data set, you will just split this data set into training part and into testing part. In the training part, you will model the data. In the testing part, you will test the data. And to divide this, you need this function. Okay. So you once you divide the data set into two parts, then you can select samples proportionally. That is what is done in stratified sampling. Okay. Now what is the meaning of test size equal to 0.2? That means you want the data set to be divided into 80-20 part. Training part will be kept 80% will be given for training data set. Point 2, that is 20% will be given for test data set. Okay. Now what do you mean by a stratify equal to y? Stratify equal to y means the split of the dataset into training and testing sets will be done in such a way that the proportion of samples for each class in the target variable will be same in both training set and in the testing set. Clear? So you ensure that each class is represented proportionally in the testing and training sets. Clear? So that is what is stratified sampling. First you cluster the data, then you sample them proportionally. Okay. Now next is cluster sampling. Cluster sampling means divide the population into cluster and then randomly select some clusters. Okay. Let's say random you have imported and you have 4 cluster 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12. Okay, now you want to choose a random subset of cluster. Here you are using random dot sample function. Then you are taking cluster dot keys. Cluster dot keys means these are the keys, these are the values, dictionary concept. So you are taking these keys, making into a list so that you can perform the sample function. And then you want how many number of clusters you want, that you can specify 1 2 3 as per your choice. Okay, so you can select the sampled cluster this way. So clustering concept, you create clusters and then select some clusters. Okay, so you have created subset of clusters. Now if you want the individuals from the cluster, then simple, you have just created a list, an empty list, and then for every number in those sampled clusters, you traverse a for loop and add them into this cluster.sample list. Okay, so you select after you select the random clusters, let's say you have selected 2 and 3. Okay, now you would apply a for loop on these values and select every data set and keep them into cluster sampling. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, all these will be in this cluster sample list. Simple. Okay, now let's see what is the output. Oh, see, they have selected these two only, cluster 2 and cluster 3. It will change every time I run because this is random selection. So now it's have selected 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3. That means cluster 2 and cluster 1. Again run it. Now it has selected cluster 4 and cluster 2, 10, 11, 12, and 4, 5, 6. Okay. So it will just randomly select some two clusters. If you want, you can give three also. Then see the number will increase because it will select three clusters. It has selected cluster 4, cluster 3, and cluster 1. Okay, clear? So this is what is known as cluster sampling. This all comes under probability sampling. Next, non-probability sampling. Non-probability sampling means it is not statistically random. Okay. Now, this is mainly for some purpose like convenience sampling. Convenience sampling means sample those who are easiest to reach, and obviously, this will create bias. It's simple, like here you have the data set and you are sampling Alice, Bob, David, Eve because they are easy for you. They are readily available. Maybe others are busy, whatever it is. Simple, nothing as such. And next, purposive sampling. Purposive sampling means you have a purpose. Here, see, I have taken a dictionary. Name is the key. Alice is the value. Exam score is the key. 85 is the value. Study hours is the key. 10 is the value. Okay. Now, see, I only want those students who have scored more than 80. Okay. But I don't want to uh, select all those who have not scored more than 80. So you have a purpose. So you simply just create here. See, I have created a list comprehension like for student in students if student exam score greater than 80. So if the condition satisfies, then take them as sampling. Okay. So this is purposive sampling. These are comes under non-probability sampling. Okay, clear. Now, all other non-probability sampling like snowball sampling, voluntary sampling, judgmental sampling, these are also like this only. You have a purpose and you are selecting accordingly. Okay, but these are the main important sampling. We are going to use this a lot, probability sampling, and I hope these concepts are very clear to you. Okay, so we will meet in our next video. Till then, bye. Happy learning. If you have any question, please put in the comment section. If you like, if you appreciate my effort, then please subscribe to this channel. Thank you.